Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Lex the Gray here. This will be a one-shot. I'm hoping to complete it within this one video. It will be standard Savage Worlds, no house rules. We will be using one-page Mythic for the Oracle. I already have a character rolled up here. This will be in a Cyberpunk setting. So our character name is Zane Korr. He's a hunter, human, age 34, about 6'4". His portrait's right here at the bottom left of the screen, as I typically like to do. His agility is D8, D6 smarts, D6 strength, D4 spirit, and D6 vigor. I gave him 20 points to build a character because I'm actually not using Suede. I typically use older editions of Savage Worlds. His parry is 6 and his toughness is 7. He has 2 armor based on quite an assortment of armor. We have a reactive helmet that he's wearing right now, +2. Urban plate vest, that's +2. Carbon fiber arm guards, +1. Impact resist shin plates, +1. He's got some weapons, notable. We have light coil pistol, which is about 2d6 damage. We have a collapsible baton that's on his back right now. That is a strength plus d4 with a +1 bonus to limbs, basically under swiping. And a pulse rifle for long distance, which is a 2d8 and actually has an armor piercing of 2. He does have some powers. I typically don't use powers, but I'm going to give it a shot. It's with the arcane background psionics, which I thought was the most relevant for Cyberpunk. He's got a neural disrupt, which basically disrupts a enemy's if they have a cybernetics in their brain to some extent. That will cause a shaking condition. It's instant. He has clarinet, which allows him to see and hear through security systems. Both of those cost 2 points of power points. And a side shield, which is basically +2 armor increase for about 5 rounds in combat. That's about 3. So far, he has 10 power points for this one shot. Now, let's figure out, we're starting from scratch. Let's figure out what our character is doing. I'm assuming him being a hunter, he is going to be either tracking someone down, looking for someone or something. So let's roll for actions and see what we have here. 64 is going to be information. That is absolutely perfect. 90, information that is rather simple. All right, let's get one more descriptor rolled. 19, information rather simple, dark. Okay, it is in a dark area of this massive city, but it's very simple to find. Information, so he's not hunting someone, he is hunting something. I'm assuming his character is a freelancer. I did write in the background that he is an infamous thief and hunter for shadowy clients, so he is on a job. So he is on his way to this location, and the client paid him or will pay him a reward of, let's say, 500 credits. I don't have any money right now, but let's say he just has 210 credits on person. Credits kind of being the go-to for a generic currency in the far future or near future. So he's on his way. Let's say he has either a hovercraft of sorts, or he's taking the. Actually, that would not be discreet enough. If he's a wanted thief, or if he is generally wanted by the law. Now, wanted is one of his hindrances. It's a minor, so he's not like the whole city's not out there looking for him. He doesn't have like 5 stars in GTA. This is like he's just a low-level criminal, low-level thief. He is overconfident. That's his major hindrance, so that will impact gameplay. His other minor hindrance is vengeful. So if someone causes trouble or problems for him consistently throughout this one shot, then it will become a nuisance for him, and he's going to sidetrack off the actual main mission and find this individual and cause them a problem. So we have to figure out. Let's figure out a name of the city. I'll just call it Nova Prime, which is actually a Transformers character. We can call it Nova Prime just for now. It's a large, vast megatropolis that's perhaps on the West Coast somewhere, maybe formerly Los Angeles. And it is because we rolled dark, it is nighttime, so it's going to be very late. The entire city is lit up like a giant candle. There's LED neon lights practically everywhere. And Zane is taking the local transportation, the local grid, because again, he wants to remain low. So I believe he actually would be in civilian attire or attire that covers up his that doesn't exactly stand out too much. So what he's wearing right now is probably acceptable. It's basically dark clothing. The helmet doesn't necessarily have to be on. It can be nanotechnology where it just kind of recedes back into his perhaps collar. So let me pull up his picture of his face. I do have two images of him. So that's his face right there. Kind of has a cybernetic mask on. I wouldn't really say if it's a permanent implant, but it's just to cover up his face. Maybe because the air in this Nova Prime is so bad that people typically either have enhanced breathing technology, cybernetic implants, or he just has a mask to cover up his identity. So he's on his way to a location. The location is called the Blue Grid. Let's say it is a towering skyscraper, one of the tallest buildings in the downtown Nova Prime area. And his client paid him, or his job is to find a simple memory chip that needs to be retrieved in one piece. So he has to retrieve this memory chip. That is the quest item he's looking for, he's after. It's going to be highly guarded, most likely at the top of the tower of the Blue Grid. The Blue Grid could be a mix of a hotel, a casino, and also there's a penthouse at the very, very top where this memory chip is located. Now, I'm assuming, don't necessarily have to roll for it, I'm going to say that there is a potential adversary, a boss that owns this memory chip, and he owns that penthouse at the very, very top. So his name, write down that's the quest item. His name, the boss, will be Gordo Flash. Like Flash Gordon, but Gordo Flash. That's the that's the big bad. He'll be most likely at the very, very top. But anyways, we reach the location. Zane is exiting the light rail and he makes his way through the streets of Nova Prime. And as he approaches the same block of the Blue Grid skyscraper, remember, this is in the heart of downtown Nova Prime. There are skyscrapers all over the place, towering into the sky, and he is on foot. Now, this is our only character. We don't have um, another. He's a wild card, so we don't have another character sheet. It's strictly just Zane. So Zane makes his way. His approach, though, has to be within his parameters. So his smart is let's see, D6. He has an average IQ. He's not the smartest individual in the city, but he's not the dumbest. He's fast. His agility is D8, so we have to keep that into consideration, which means, based on those stats, he's going to go in here and sneak in and break in as, again, he's a thief. So let's see what he's got. Item-wise, he has a med patch, which is he has two of them that allows him to heal. He has an EMP grenade, a signal jammer, a hollow ID, a micro drone, and a grapple gun 50 feet. Now, as I'm thinking about this, the micro drone, he's going to launch that up into the air. He pulls out of his pocket. It sits in his hand. It's like a little helicopter, and it. I wonder if it has camo, some kind of camouflage feature. Let's ask the Oracle. So 75% chance it has a camouflage feature. It does not. Nope. It's quiet, but the extreme no means it can be seen. I'm thinking if it's the near future or if it's the distant future in a cyberpunk-esque setting. There are many things flying around. There's advertisements, there's other hovercrafts, flying vehicles of sorts. There are giant blimps with large banners on them, digital LED logos being casted into the sky. So his little tiny drone will not exactly stand out because it'll be in the mix. So let's say on his wrist he has a little camera, a little display. He's going to enter a alleyway right before the main entrance of the blue grid, and he launches his drone up into the air, and it's going to zoom up about several hundreds of feet into the air as it kind of gets in the mix of other small flying hovercrafts, uh, flying vehicles of sorts. And it's dark, so you can kind of see a small, tiny flashing light to indicate its progress. So it flies up into the air. He's getting a read, a scan of the building. Now the building, this will be a question for the Oracle. Does the building have some kind of anti-scanning technology, some kind of security system that does not allow external devices to scan with inside its walls? I'm going to say 50-50. This is just a general building. It is the future, so let's say 65% chance. Oh, another extreme note. It does not. This building is not exactly the most secure, except we'll keep this in mind, but the penthouse might be more secure than what Zane thinks. Again, Zane's overconfident. He sees his drone is circling around, and this place is just a general building. There's really nothing significant about it. He's probably assuming there's going to be general security around the entrance throughout the floors. So what he's going to do, he's going to recall his drone back, so he has a general idea of the structure and the design of the tower. So he recalls the drone back. It's back into his pocket, or folds into like a thin sleeve shape. Puts it back into his pocket, and we're going to have to decide how he's going to enter this tower. He could just go through the front. He could do that. He doesn't exactly have attire that matches perhaps royalty. I think this casino, if it's a casino hotel, it would probably welcome people off the streets. Let's figure this out. How exactly is this hotel? What is the reputation of this hotel? Let's do two descriptors. 59, mundane. Okay, so working class. 47, lacking. Oh, okay. So it's lacking anyone of royalty. The higher you are in the tower, the more royalty you become, the more royalty you'll find. But at the bottom floor in the casino, you the general public. So I think he notices that there is just everyday consumers are going in and out of this casino, and he's going to fit right in. So he has a hollow ID that can perhaps be used to trick any security into thinking he works for the casino or he's a maintenance, someone with maintenance. So he's thinking that he's going to enter the casino, and let's draw this right here. He enters the main entrance of the casino. And let's roll up the size of the entrance of the casino. It could be the foyer, could be the main lobby. The blue represents width and from left to right. Red represents from up and down. This is tile size. So the room is going to be 3, 4. So 4 deep. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll do here, 4 tiles deep, and then 3 wide. That makes sense. Okay, so he enters this room. There is going to be a lobby. Remember, it's a hotel, so we have to assume there is a check-in, a reg desk of sorts. So there is a pop-out reg desk here, and there is a seating area here, just for the general public to sit down. A couple of couches. People are enjoying themselves, kind of chatting. There's a table here in the middle. There's a little round. There's a couple of, let's see, let's roll. Is there anybody actually sitting down, kind of relaxing? 80% chance. Wow, a lot of 90s. This is really strange. There is not. There is nobody in this little area here, but I'm going to assume there's going to be 2 receptionists, 2 front desk agents, just kind of chilling right here on their phones or on the little tablets or whatever they're using, their palms. Their wrists in the future, whatever the technology may be. They're just kind of ignoring. So we're going to either just pass through into the main entrance. Let's say there's a couple of doors here, or entrances. There's a couple of halls. Right here is the main casino. To the right is the rooms, left and right are the rooms. So he's going to be entering here. He's going to be walking slowly. There's nobody around, so that does kind of take away from his stealth because he's trying to blend into the crowd, but there's really no crowd to blend in. So let's do a stealth check. If he can just, he doesn't have stealth. Oh, he does have stealth. We're going to roll stealth to see if we can cross through the main foyer of the lobby and go to either the left or right. So blue is left, red is right. Okay, he's going to go to the left, basically. That's where he wants to go. Just kind of a roll for the progress here. And we're doing a stealth check. Because there is nobody around in the seating area, we can ask the Oracle if there's anybody that is at the check-in table, the registration. So, question for the Oracle. Let's use this. Maybe this will help with the dice. I'm going to say it's a hotel. The casino might be busy. 60% chance there's one or two individuals at the front desk. Nope. 69. Wow, the dice is definitely on a no streak right now. There's not, so that will take away from our stealth. So I'll do a -1 penalty on this roll, but it's basically a d6. We're rolling to see with a target number of 4, but a -1 penalty. Oh wow, okay, it's just not. Oh yeah, I forgot. I have my almost forgot our bennies for this game. There we go. There's our bennies. I'm going to save that. He's not able to discreetly walk by, like covering his face, trying to be discreet. Now, again, this is a public area. People go in the casino. I don't think. Maybe he does stand out for some reason. So one of the clerks, one of these front desk reps, flags him down. He says, "Excuse me, sir. May I speak to you, please?" The clerk, the front desk rep, does this with his hand. Of course, not to be suspicious, Zane is going to turn to the receptionist, and he walks up and and he has that mask on. However, this might not be anything related to a suspicious behavior. So let's roll to see what exactly does this receptionist want to ask Zane. We'll do 2 descriptors: 44, important, okay, 28, extravagant. Oh, you know what? Basically, anyone that walks by without approaching the front desk is assumed to be going to the casino. Now, we were caught about halfway with that roll, so we're right about here in the middle. We get pulled aside, pulled to the front desk. The receptionist says, "Sir, if you are going to the casino, which I'm assuming you are, you're welcome to take on the house 100 credits to try out one of our new machines in the back, or let's say in the middle of the casino. One of our new 100 credits or 100 chips to try one of our new machines." So he basically is promoting. He's trying to promote a new um, some new games in the middle of the casino that they're trying to um, increase traffic for. So Zane nods. He doesn't talk much. He says, "That sounds fine." He doesn't want to talk. He nods and he sticks his hand out. And so the receptionist, the front desk rep, asks for his card, his ID, because he says, "Okay, if you could just show me your ID, we'll put you in the system, so you'll be on our list to try out our new games." Okay, so Zane will use his hollow ID. No roll necessary because it's an item he has. He shows the ID, and it just shows some fake name. It shows some random citizen, completely fabricated. And the representative doesn't scan it, just looks at it. He puts him right. He writes down the name, John, John Doe, and gives the card back. He gives 100 chips to Zane. I'll call it casino chips. Basically, just a little currency for the casino itself. And Zane kind of does this, and then he nods, and then the front desk reps, "Okay, thank you. Have fun. Enjoy your stay. Enjoy your time." And then Zane's going to walk. Now, here's a problem. That interaction with the front desk, the hotel employee, means that Zane has to go through the casino. So he can't just, go to make a left. However, Zane is going to consider he's going to ask. He stops walking, turns around to one of the receptionists, and asks, "Excuse me, where are the restrooms?" He simply asks. Now the restrooms, this will be a roll these white dice. Okay, so the white dice, the restroom is in the casino. Blue dice, it's to the left. Red dice is to the right. Let's roll these three here. Okay, well, not it's to the right. Okay, so it's to the right. They point to the right as a very rich couple enters the casino, walks up, kind of laughing. They're drunk. They walk up to the front desk receptionist to get something. So Zane just makes a right here, and now he's entering this area to the right. So let's roll for it to see how big this area is. 2, 3, that actually makes sense. Now, 2 wide, 3, let's say, erase this part here. The bottom will be 2 here, 3 wide. So this will be an elevator shaft. There is 3 elevators to the right that goes up the tower. The bathrooms per se are going to be right here. There's 2 individual bathrooms, like so. I'll just write male and female. And then these are elevators. So we have E1, E2, and E3. I'll draw little squares here just to represent the elevators themselves. Now, he's going to enter the men's bathroom. And is it a single? Whoops, sorry about that. Bump my mic. Is it a single use bathroom or is it like multiple um, for multiple people? Let's see, 50-50 is a single use. It is. Okay, so it's just a single use bathroom, which is quite unusual. So it's going to be just basically 1 square wide. I'm assuming the female's bathroom is also the same. So this will be men's, just and then this is females. He enters the bathroom, the door slides open, and then he closes it, locks it. And so in here, he's going to, let's see, use his clarinet power to access the security system to see if he can, well, see, does our character actually know the memory chip is at the very, very top in the penthouse? That's something I forgot, I overlooked. So 75%, I'm confident that's what our our client told us during the mission statement. So our handler told us that the memory chip is, let's call it the blue chip because this is the blue grid. So it looks like a blue chip. There we go. The blue chip. That's the item we're looking for. And he says it's at the very top floor of the building. Now, powers, which I've never actually used before in this game, but we're going to use clarinet, which allows us. It's typically 3 rounds for combat, but I'm using this in general adventuring. We're going to be using this for a very brief moment. It costs 2 power points to use, so 9, 8, and basically he is going to close his eyes, or his eyes turn blue, and you can kind of see this little matrix code going through his eyes. But what he sees is him accessing. He has a little Wi-Fi antenna in his head. He's connected to the local area network, wireless access network, and he is basically trying to find security cameras or anything security related at the very top dozen or so floors. So let's see what he finds upstairs. This might require a roll, actually. I'm trying to think if this actually does require a skill roll. I'm going to say no. All right, let's see what he finds. Let's do 2 descriptors. 62, mysterious. Okay, I like that. 99, warm. Okay, one more. So mysterious, warm. 10, clean. Okay, so mysterious, warm, and clean. When he is looking through the security systems, there's a warm feeling for some reason that hits him. It's very mysterious, but he does access one of the cameras outside the penthouse entrance, and it's basically a small lobby, a private lobby with one main elevator opposite of the main penthouse doors. There's large golden doors, the biggest doors, the most golden doors, and the mysterious part is he feels like someone else is accessing the system at the same time he is. That's the mysterious part of the role. So let's keep that in mind, that there's someone else potentially accessing the network while he's also kind of looking around with his mind, essentially. So he snaps out of it. He's back, and he knows that the elevator will be a private elevator somewhere else in the building, but it's accessible from well, I'm going to assume it is accessible from the first floor. If this is the penthouse, it's going to be accessible somewhere in the back, like a VIP section. 75% chance it is in the VIP area. It's not. You see, the dice are really telling me no today. So it is. Let's try again. Yeah, I'm going to just stick with the no. So the main elevator to the penthouse is actually in the bottom floor in a public area, but it most likely has a keypad or some access panel to get into. Now, he leaves the bathroom, and we're back into this little elevator foyer. He's going to take a peek to the right. Now, that cute drunk couple, they stumble by and they bump into him, and the guy says, he says, "Hey, watch it, man." And Zane kind of backs off with his arms up. He says, "Sorry," as he looks down. The man, does he take notice of Zane? 25% chance. I don't really think he's drunk, so no. Okay, so the drunk guy, he nods. He's holding a beer, or he's holding some wine or something, and he grabs his girl, or if it's a prostitute or whatever, and they go up in this elevator one. They click the button. It quickly shows up. Doors close, and it goes up. So did that individual really matter? The drunk man that bumped into Zane, was he important? 75% chance. 79. He's not. A lot of no's today. He's not. He's just a, well, so far he's just a nobody. So Zane is looking outside through the entrance into the foyer here, and he's trying to figure out if he can sneak into one of these elevators. The clerks are busy helping an old lady with her dog. So he's going to take, well, are there any cameras in this elevator shaft? I'm going to say actually 70, let's say 50% chance. Nope. Oh, actually, I said 70 first, but then it said 50% chance. I must be psychic. So there's obviously cameras in the main foyer, the main lobby. That's obvious, but not in here. So he's going to walk up into elevator 3. Now the elevator doesn't require a key card to access, because generally in hotels, I would assume that the elevator requires a key card to tap or some kind of room number. But let's ask the Oracle. Does this elevator require a key card? 75% chance. Okay, there we go. That's our first yes for today, I think. It does, but it's because it's such a high close to the yes. There is a something odd about it. Let's roll. So 2 descriptors. 1, it's artificial. Well, no, duh. 72. 72 is peaceful. Artificial, peaceful. 8. Bright. Okay. It's brand new. It was just installed. So he isn't really going to bother with it. Signal jammer. I mean, he has a signal jammer. I'm not really sure what he can do. He doesn't really have much weight of a hacking it. We used up our power already. So he's trying to figure out if he should get to the top of the lobby here or just leave and go through the casino. Now, while he's looking at the elevator door, the old lady with the dog shows up and approaches. She says, "Good evening, young man." And she taps her card on, or her hand. Maybe there's like a little wrist strap of the digital display, and she taps it, and it calls down the elevator. And she inquires, asks Zane, "How was your day? How was your evening going?" And Zane nods. He says, "Going quite well. Just heading back to my room." So Zane's gonna use this opportunity to go into the elevator with her. Now this old lady, does she let Zane into the elevator? Just common courtesy. I'm gonna say 90% chance. Yep, she does. Okay, so the elevator doors open. She gets inside. He enters, and he's just kind of fiddling on his well, really thinking of the phone. Maybe it's just the digital display hologram pops up from the wristband. The door closed. The dog is barking at Zane. The old lady tries to calm the dog down, and she says, "I'm sorry. He's never quite like this. He's usually very friendly to strangers." Zane says, "Don't worry about it. Maybe it's just something. Maybe it's the way what I'm wearing." So I forgot. Zane has the baton. Let's just assume. Let's pretend that baton is secluded, or it's hidden away behind him. It's even, it's not exactly extended out. It's not his power pole from Dragon Ball or anything. So they reach the room. He clicks. He presses the very top floor. Let's say, level 50, 48. Let's say there's 50 levels in this building, so 48. She gets up at 32 or somewhere. She says, "Have a good evening," and he nods. The dog keeps barking, leaves, and he gets up to room level 48 is the highest one he can get to. So we step out, and we're rolling 2 dice once again to represent what this will be. So it's a hallway. 2. I'm going to assume there's a elevator shaft here. So this is the second floor. I'm sorry, this is the 48th floor. There we go. And uh, this is the elevator shaft, or this is the elevator foyer, whatever that's called. And then it cuts in like this. So 2 wide, 4 deep. So 2 here and then 4 deep. There we go. There's a little corner here. And he enters through here. There's rooms every other. I'm going to say this is a hallway. Goes all the way to the other side of the hotel. Goes all the way up like this. Like so. There's basically a door for every guest room. The little suites, they're not the biggest guest rooms. But basically like so. And then, whoops, yep, that works. So just finishing up these rooms here. We go. There's about a dozen or so rooms. And the hallway turns to the left. So he's 2 floors away from the penthouse elevator. Now he's walking through the hall. Are there cameras in this hallway? Let's say 25% chance. There is actually. There's actually 1 camera. So there's a camera right here. I'll put a camera. Now let's do a notice roll to see it if he can see it, if he can basically catch it, because he's leaving the elevator. I'm not gonna let him be so careless just yet. But we're doing notice roll. Perhaps it's really small or it's hidden away in the very top corner behind like a lip in the ceiling. So we'll do a notice roll. D6 the wild, no penalty, just standard 4 target number. And we got it with a wild die, so that's good. He's about to enter the hallway, but he stops. He sees a camera, and it's just pointing. Future, yeah, this is definitely not the future. It's just pointing directly into the hall. It's just a stationary camera aimed down the hallway. So he does have a signal jammer. He's going to activate it to jam this camera for exactly 5 minutes. He doesn't want security to see him that he's on this floor. So he jams the camera. Let's say the signal jammer has 3 uses. I'm doing a little house rule here for the item. So he jams the camera for the first use. He's walking down the hall. There is somebody who leaves this door here. It is a businessman. He leaves, shuts his door, and walks by. And does he make notice of Zane for any reason? Perhaps 15% chance. Nope, he doesn't. Okay, so this businessman walks by with a briefcase, then enters the elevator. So Zane continues on. We reach this turn here. Let's roll to see what the size of this room is. Or this, I should say, hallway. Oh, the same, actually. Okay, so 2 tall, 3 wide. So we'll continue the hallway here. I'll keep drawing this way here. Basically, here's what I'm thinking. This goes around, so it's basically 7 off the middle lobby. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It goes all the way up. I'm just seeing a pattern here. Like so. And then it intersects and closes on this area here. This is another elevator shaft, which is exactly 3 off the lobby on the first floor. We're blending floors here. This little square is the 48th floor. That's where we're currently at. So let me write this down on the sheet. 48th floor plus the lobby, which is the first floor. Just some notes here in case we do cross over multiple episodes of this, but that's not really the intent. And I'm going to say this is the elevator foyer. I keep calling it. I know there's a different term for it. And it goes all the way up here, and there's essentially rooms that go all the way around. So I'm going to pause the video and draw in all those rooms. Okay, so I've completed this roundabout, this horseshoe-shaped hallway. The guest rooms go all the way around here, There's, again, about 50 floors. Now, I'm thinking for a slight edit in the story, in this setup of the building. Let's say that the main suite is actually right here on this floor, because I couldn't think of a way for this private elevator to be on another floor. I'd say that we're actually on the 50th floor. This is the top floor, or you know what? Not 50th, the 100th. This building is going to be tall, and we're on the 100th floor. So I'm doing a hack to the story here, at least to the setting. So a slight change of things. We're on the 100th floor, which would make sense as to where this private suite would be, whether I'm calling it penthouse or private suite. But he found it, so he's going to get to the corner here. There's a door, and another door opens right here. And let's see who is this individual leaving this other guest room. Could be nobody. 50. Large. 85. Ruined. Okay, so this is this can be a problem. So there is a very large individual who looks like he is decked out in cybernetics, and he just leaves this room here. Now, perhaps it could be just another guest staying at the hotel, but is this individual a person of interest? 75% chance. He is, 72. Took a bit. So while Zane stops right here to kind of peek around the left corner to spot another camera, I'm going to say there's actually cameras around this lip in the hall here. So as you can see, it kind of dips down. There's cameras right here and here that are facing west and east. But this big fellow, he turns to the right and he starts to walk up to our character, Zane. Zane will do a notice roll. Can he hear this big guy walking behind him? This will be a notice roll, but because Zane is not paying attention, we'll put a -2 penalty on it. So it's a d6 notice and the wild die. Let's use our tray. Oh, I have an ace. So that means the wild die aces 7. That is a success within 8, within 4. So Zane quickly turns around to see this big giant individual. Just, it's a human, but it's a big guy. He's looks like he's wearing some tactical gear. So he pulls out a baton and he's walking up to Zane very quickly. Zane is going to prepare for combat. We're now in combat. So this individual has a marking on their clothes that actually shows a faction of the city. So not really diving much into the lore here, but let's say that this individual belongs to a local faction called the Hounds. So it's a gang, the Hounds, but I think this individual is with the target, who is, again, Gordo Flash. This is probably one of his bodyguards that remains on this floor and does sweeps, and he can see Zane is acting strange. Maybe Zane was maybe someone tipped off that Zane was coming. So double cross maybe? But the Hounds are basically a paid muscle to protect the main villain we have here. So this big guy, who is going to be just an extra, he's not wild card, we're going to enter combat. And let's roll for initiative, which I usually just use 2 dice. Let's use my agility, actually. So I will use agility. This will be another slight adjustment on the house. His agility is a d8 against the red die. Okay, we go first. Zane sees that this big individual is a threat, so he's approaching him, and he's going to attack. Zane also has a baton. He doesn't want to make any noise of laser blasts or guns here, so we're keeping it minimal to melee. And the baton is going to be strength plus d4, so his strength is actually a d6 with a d4, but that's if it hits. I'm confusing my custom house rules, but I'm getting it ready just in case. So his fighting is a D8, which is pretty good, and the wild die. We're attacking at this individual. This individual will be a D6 adversary. So we'll keep that there. His parry is 5 based on my quick enemy generator, and that's a complete fail. So what I'll do is pay a Benny to re-roll that. All right, here we go. Oh, there we go. We have a 6, which is 1 over his parry, thus it's a hit. Now we roll for damage. So he swings his baton, and we're aiming for. I should have called it. If I did an aim, if I called where I was hitting the limbs, I would get an extra +1 based on the weapon specialty. So we're rolling for damage. This is just a D4 and a D6 because a strength roll. Okay. 5. His toughness is 6. That's a miss. So now he attacks. He will roll, let's say, 2d6s against our parry of. Oh, I'm actually he's an extra, so he has rolls 1d6. Damage is 2d6. Our parry is 6. 5. That's going to be a fail. Okay, now it's we parry, we jump back, and we're going to strike at him once again. So we're happening. It's just right about here in this area. He has a d6. We're doing our fighting die once more, which is a d8, and the wild die. Now we're going for the limbs. It's going to strike for the limbs. So he jumps in front of him, gets low, and strikes for the limbs. This will be a +1 on the attack roll. Oh, the wild die aced. One again. That's going to be a +1, so 7, 8. That's actually a raise on top of the attack. So that's an extra d6 of damage. So the standard damage is a d4 and a d6 with the extra d6. Actually, 8 over toughness of 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. That's just a success. So my apologies. It's a standard damage roll. I forgot 4 was not my target number. That's going to be damage of 5, which is not enough. So once again, the baton just hits him in the leg, and this guy is so huge, it barely does anything. All right, so the guy is going to try and grab Zane, and this will be a d6 roll, as usual. As Zane hits the lemons, looks up, nothing happens. 5. Parry is 6, so we dodge. Okay, so Zane's going in once again with the attack. This will be the fighting die with the wild die. Once again. That's going to be 5. It's successful. The wild die was there to take the hit. And damage will be the d6 and the d4. 5. I'm not. Oh, damn. I'm sorry. Damage 6, 7, 8. That's a hit. That's 2 over. So that's a stun, or should I say a shaken condition. So he's shaken. Now he has to do a spirit roll, which would be a d6. 4, that is a success, so he shakes off the shaking condition, as expected. And now he can't do much more. So he's going to, I'll give him a small action. He's going to pull out his radio or his comm and call for backup, while Zane is going to attack him when he's slightly distracted. So we'll give him +1 on this roll. Using his baton. So this will be a wild die and the d8 with fighting +1. Okay, so that's a 6, the wild die, but it did not ace, which means it's a hit. So d6 and a d4. Rolling for damage, hoping for the best. That's 7. So once again, he is shaken, which stops him from placing that call for backup. So now he has to do another spirit roll. Want to back and forth here. 4. Okay, so he's successful. And he's going to try again on the radio. So Zane is getting very impatient here. He doesn't want to use a gun. So we got to think smart. We got to think of another alternative here. What we can do to stun this guy or to take him down. So what do we have in our inventory? We have micro drone, the grapple gun. Oh, we have the grapple gun. He's going to just straight up shoot the grapple gun. He's vengeful right now, or let's say he's overconfident. He thinks it will work, so it might actually work. Okay, so we're gonna use a weapon. This will be shooting, which is also a D8. And the wild die is gonna try to take his grapple gun that's in his wrist and fire it at a certain very vulnerable spot of the unless he's armored down there. But this will be a vulnerable spot straight from the groin, and we're gonna aim for the target number 4 as usual. And that's, oh, we have an ace on the wild die. Oh, that's a 10. Okay, so that is 8. That's an extra d6 of damage. So with the grapple gun, there's really no damage for it. I'm going to say 2d6s and an extra d6 for damage because it's the groin area. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Darn, that's another stun or shaken. Okay, so that didn't go as I planned. So it hits him in the groin, but he has a cod piece of sorts, like Judge Dredd or something that's on the outside of uniform from the 90s, and he kneels down in pain as he screams because it did hurt. So for that, what I'm going to do is lower his dice to 5 as not exactly a counter, but let's say his stamina, kind of a house rule that I just made up on the spot. Now has to do a spirit roll. He is prone, of course. He's very lucky in spirit rolls. He loses the shaking condition, but he did go down a rank. So now his parry is 4, his toughness is 5, but he's still d6 for damage. So now it's our turn. As he's prone, we're going in for the final blow. Hopefully, this will be the fighting die and the baton. So let's roll for damage or roll for attack. He's prone, so +2 on this roll. That's a 9. That is going to be that's a raise. So it's an extra d6 of damage because now his parry is down to 4. So that's extra d6 of damage and the d6 for standard and then strength. So now we're rolling for over strength toughness of 5. Shoot, I just cannot get this guy. So 5, 6. He's tough. He's really tough. So we're 1 over, which is back to shaken. Now you can't pay bennies. I'm not going to use any bennies right now to reroll damage. I believe you cannot use bennies for damage rolls. So he's shaken, but let's say that while this fight's happening, there is a child here and a family of 2. So a middle-aged couple and a child are walking down this hall, and they see this fight happening. So they scream and run back while the fight was happening. The big guy turns around, distracting himself. So I will give a free attack for us, for Zane. He's going to use the D8. We'll do a +2 because the big guy's distracted, and the wild die. So +2 on this roll. That's a 7 with the wild die. Thus, it is a hit over the parry of 4, meaning now we roll for damage, and that'll be a D8, D4. He's going for the head. And finally, geez. Okay, so 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 4 over. Thus, shaken on the shaken is a kill. So he hits the guy. The camera is about to turn back on, so we're losing the red die. We defeat him. We smack him across the face, and it breaks his jaw, and he collapses onto the ground. Don't think he's dead. I think he's just knocked out. So we knocked him out. He collapses. But the problem is that they called for security. So the camera's about to come back on, and Zane, let's do a quick notice roll from earlier. This is my mistake, but we're gonna do a quick notice roll to see if he spotted before he was interrupted by that hunter, the hound, with a D6 and the wild die, a penalty of -2 because of the urgency of it. So He did not. Okay, so he doesn't know there's cameras here. He probably can assume there is, but he's overconfident. He makes a left turn. The camera sees him. This camera turns back on, the one he disabled a while ago. This camera sees him. He's running down the hall. He sees a camera. Remember, he's overconfident. That's one of his hindrances. His face, he kind of just in embarrassment, he runs by, and now he found the main penthouse door. It's a large golden door, and there's actually an elevator right here in the middle. So that's a private elevator that goes straight to the penthouse in this main foyer. And so, which is odd because it's in the opening here, but whoever's writing this, now he's in the main penthouse door. Are there any bodyguards outside this penthouse? Let's roll for it. I'm going to say 50% chance. There is not. Okay, so they took a bathroom break. He's in the main penthouse door, the golden doors, and security shows up. They leave the elevator shaft, the elevator, and they walk into the hallway. This is happening while our character is at the main door. So our character, Zane, has to hack or get inside this main door. So we got to speed things up here a bit. So this would be lock picking, which would be a D6. He's just using something from his kit, and this would be a wild die D6. So he's trying to hack into this. I use lock picking for hacking when it comes to futuristic or modern day use. So we're rolling 2d6 in the 4 difficulty, and that's a fail. He cannot hack it. Tries the first time, cannot hack it. It blinks red, doesn't let him in. Now, is the certain individual named the boss, Gordo Flash, is he inside the penthouse right now? 50-50. He's not. He's downstairs, perhaps in the casino. He's not home. Maybe that's why we were paid. Our job was happening at night because Gordo Flash is not home. So suddenly, other security guards come around from this corner, from this elevator shaft, are circling around, and now they're surrounding us. So we're going to try one more time for that door, which will be another lock picking. Here we go. Okay, we're able to get in. Okay, so he hacks the panel. The door opens up. They don't. These guards are about halfway down the hall running. They see the body. So these guards here see the body of this big guy. They kneel down. The other security guard continues on. He says, "Keep going," and because they got to scan the whole hallway, he kneels down to help this potential civilian. They don't know he was could have been the troublemaker himself. But Zane enters the main. We finally get inside, and now let's roll for the size of the room. Let's use this. 2-1. Okay, it's a rather small. Let's say it's going to be a very tight entrance, like so. And then it enters here. And let's roll for the main area. So 5 down, 4 wide. Let's say it's about this size here. 5 does make sense. It's huge. I did add an extra square in the middle like that. So it's a large living room. It's a large, and there's a patio outside of the main kind of outlook in the city. There's these double door sliding doors. There's a bar here. There is a kitchen here. It's a large kitchen. There's a refrigerator. There's a main island for the kitchen itself right here. There's a bar, has some stools. There is just glassware and drinks everywhere. Someone's been here already. There is a large holographic TV. There is shelving here for the drinks. There's a dining table here with chairs kind of scooted around. And there's an entrance to a private room that's closed at the moment. So I'm going to say it's a bedroom, so BR. But this is the main living room, so LR. And there's a pool table right here, kind of like a hologram pool table, kind of futuristic pool table here. I'll put some legs on it so it kind of looks like a game table. There are some casino machines right here. It's a little entertainment corner, and then the outside. There's a bathroom here. on this side. So I'll draw a large bathroom per se. So this would be a bathroom. There we go. And it's huge. So he runs inside. The door closes behind. These are closets, basically, just the two clothing closets. He enters the main room, or he stands, turns around, looks through the living room to make sure no one's here. It's empty, but the bedroom is closed and the bathroom is closed. But we know for a fact that there's no one here. So he turns around. He goes back to the front door, locks it, just make sure if it has a safety lock, private lock on it. The guards run by and they meet with the others. They can't find our character. They're walking around. They don't think he's actually getting inside because the hound guy was knocked out. So does the security of the hotel know that the hounds are being private contracting security for the penthouse guest? I want to say it's possible. 65% chance they do. Okay, so they first run by, they meet up, and they acknowledge that they didn't see anybody run by. So they think this security guard gets up and walks over. He yells that this was one of the Hound members. So they look at each other and then run back to the penthouse door. So now they start to let's do a notice roll. See if our character heard any of that. The hounds, they're walking back and forth, they're knocking on the door, or they're trying to get their keys out to access the door itself, which I'm assuming they do have access to. They are security of the hotel itself. So this would be notice roll for D6 and the wild die. Okay. Okay, we did catch that. So the wild die let us catch that. Basically, let's see. Security is trying to access their comms. Let's use our signal jammer once more to interrupt that process, and it will disable radios in this radius here. So the security, it actually turns off everything. Turns off the power to the doors and the radios and the cameras. So we do this huge disable. We didn't use the EMP grenade. This just disables anything electronics rising that works off signal, which the door locks do. So quickly, Zane is going to run into the room here. He's looking for the blue chip. He has a picture of it in his pocket. I'm going to add that to his inventory. Let's say quest item or quest picture, or it's in his database and it's in his little computer display he has on his wrist. He's looking around. He does, is this blue chip in this living room? 25% chance. It's not. Okay, so he goes to the left, not knowing it's the bathroom. He opens the door, and it's just it's a walk-in shower. There's a toilet. There's a sink. There's some shelves here. It's in the bathroom. I'm going to say very unlikely, so 10% chance. Nope, it's not. He checks the bathroom. He takes a peek outside. It's just this grand view of the entire city. There are some lounge chairs just kind of chilling here. And then goes to the bedroom. The bedroom. Let's roll up the size of it. 3, 2. I'm going to change that to 6, 4. Yeah, I think that's much better. 3, 2. I mean, let's try it. So 3. Let's just do 3 by 3. It has a private bathroom, of course, right here. There's a shower, walk-in shower here, a bathtub, a sink, toilet right here, other stuff, blah, blah, blah. So that's a bathroom. Private bath. This is the bedroom. So there's a huge, giant queen bed. It has these large top section covering over it, like a it's like a casita, and then there is a couch here. There's some shelves, a nightstand here, and there is a closet right here, a small closet actually. So he's looking around. There's a little computer desk and a computer actually, like a tablet. So he's looking around. He's not here for the tablet. The guards are still struggling to get the door open because it's been disabled for, let's say, a few minutes. I have an idea on how he's going to escape. And now, is the blue chip in the bedroom? 90% chance. It is. Okay, so the blue chip, he's looking around, he's checking the dresser drawers, throwing clothes around. He checks the nightstand. He walks around the bed. He finds it in this nightstand here. It is a a large blue picture frame sized, and it has a little compartment that's in a glass casing, and there's a blue chip. Kind of looks like an SD card, but it's blue. So he picks up, and that's going to be the blue chip. Okay, he has a quest item, so success. The guards are pounding on the door. Now, quickly, Zane runs back into the living room. He gets outside, closes the door behind him, and he's going to use his grappling hook to fire it at the very top of the building. So he fires it up, and this will be a shooting skill. So we need a D8 and the wild die, and we're shooting for it. This will be target number 4. Oh, we just got it. Okay. So he's shooting it, and he ties himself to, he attaches to his belt, and he's going to pull a Mission Impossible and zip line up to the top of the mountain. And he is now on top of the roof of the hotel. Now, the big guy himself, Gordon Flash, got the call that his penthouse, his master guest room got robbed. So he's running. He has 2 guards with him of the hounds. He's running down the hall, makes a left, and he's seeing the guards. They finally get the door open. They get it open. The jammer, the signal jam has been rectified, and they get inside. So it's going to be, let's say, 3 security guards. There is Gordo himself and 2 other hound members. They enter in here and they're looking around. Nothing's really stolen. Gordo's like, he's like confused. What's going? He's really think like Kingpin from the Daredevil show. He's looking around. There's like nobody. There's nobody here. He enters the bedroom, and he knows of the blue chip. That's the most valuable item in his possession. He walks up to his nightstand stand, and the drawer is opened, and it's gone. He screams at the top of his lungs. He yells, "Bastard! Who took this?" The security guards are looking around. They enter the bathroom. They go towards the outside on the patio. Security hounds are looking up and down. They're trying to see where he went. They look down like maybe they think maybe our character uh, jumped off with some kind of glider, and they don't see anything. They just see the open the nightlife, the night sky, and that's where our character has successfully got the blue chip, and he's able to escape. I'm going to say that he calls for a pickup, perhaps another ally of his, but that's where we're going to end this video. Our character was able to get the item without much conflict besides the encounter here in the hallway. So I'm going to give him 3 XP for this, as he did pretty well. So now I'll save that character sheet for later, perhaps in a future video. But Nova Prime, again, the city name is just a placeholder. Again, this is just a one shot. Will it continue or really not know? We had 2 chips left over, so 2 bennies left over, but that's really it. So we got to the lobby, we went upstairs to the 50th floor, or like later retcon to the 100th floor, and we were able to get into the penthouse, and we stole the blue chip for our handler, for the buyer. So that's it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and this will be called Above the Grid. Thanks for watching.